Guess what, guys? Baseball is coming back in the form of a spring training and a full-on 162-game season. That is right. Rob Manfred informed every single baseball team out there that they should be preparing for the spring training on time in February, and to also prepare for a full 162-game season. The MLB hoped to delay the season by at least a month, but the MLB Players Association was not going to have it. They fought it. And interesting fact for you guys out there, in case you didn't notice, MLB doesn't legally have the right to delay the season without the approval of the union, which obviously they fought because they demanded a full 100% pay this season, which is something that couldn't happen last year given the shortened season. Another thing, this is according to the LA Times, MLB doesn't plan to mandate proof of vaccine or negative COVID-19 test before entering the ballparks. And aside from that, the rest of it was reported by USA Today. I'm gonna start with this one because I'm very excited. Mario, I gotta be real with you, man. I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously, I'm excited, but I'm talking about in terms of how this is gonna work. I don't know how to feel. And I'm gonna tell you why. Actually, I'll give you some pros and cons. The biggest pro, in my opinion, is a spring training. And in case of you guys aren't big with baseball, it's basically spring training is basically baseball's preseason. So Rob Manfred took his notes on the NBA, NHL, and the NFL not having a preseason. So we did good on that. I'll give him props for that. Another pro is that there's going to be fans going into the stadium, so at least the revenue is going up a bit, which is something that was a problem last season, given that there was no fans going into the stadiums. Now let me go to the cons. All right, my biggest con with this is how are they gonna make the scheduling? You feel me? Like you got 162 games for each team this year, right? And going back to a normal season, and you look at let's say the NHL, because they're playing, each division's playing each other more than they're going to be playing everybody else. And that, in my opinion, and they're doing it because of to decrease the travel. In my opinion, I think the MLB needs to look at that because that's going to be difficult to do given you're playing 162 games a season. So when you play one division half a season, it's just going to mess you up. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting to see how this works out. There's other factors, of course, like where the Toronto Blue Jays going to play this season, because remember they kicked them out last season. They kicked out the Raptors this season. Because they don't want anybody traveling into the country. It's understandable. So they got to figure that out, suits them and the Blue Jays. I'm excited for baseball coming back. Don't get me wrong, but it's I don't know, man. I'm not so sure about they should be going to a 162 game season. Now, I get it. By then, it's going to be summer. The virus isn't going to be spreading that fast, according to scientists out there. I don't know about that, but what I'm concerned about is how the scheduling is going to be done and how the traveling is going to be set. Because there's other states that, every state takes the virus seriously. You know what I mean? They take it different ways and all that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this rolls out. I personally don't know how to feel about the 162 game season, but either way, I'm excited for the season to come back.
No, I absolutely 100% agree with you on everything you just. I should be excited that it's a full season, but for some reason I'm not. And I think the number one reason why I'm not excited is because the MLB does not plan to mandate proof of vaccine or negative COVID testing. Absolutely. That one concerns me the most.
That does, yeah.
Obviously, in sports and all around the world, the biggest issue right now is COVID, or COVID is at least one of the biggest issues. And for them to not be keeping any proof of vaccines or negative testing, or that could spew a lot of problems in the MLB. And that's the number one reason why I'm not comfortable with this season going a full season. Well, it's not even really the full season. Like the full season part, it's not really my concern. My concern is that right there. Whether it's a full season or not, you not keeping track of who's negative or keeping track of negative testing, that's a problem. And so I mean, when you really look at it, it's just, yeah, this is bad, man. It's but I mean, again, I am absolutely excited to see a full MLB season, something that we didn't get the opportunity to see. It almost felt like this season went by really quick last season. But a full 162 game season, it could determine a lot more things. A lot of stuff could have changed if we had a 162 game season last year. So with that being said, I'm glad that it's coming back. I'm glad we get to experience a full season of baseball. And the only thing that's concerning me is this negative COVID stuff, which I believe that the MLB might have a bigger issue than basketball when it comes to that stuff if they're not going to keep proof of vaccines or negative testing.
especially
But
especially if you're gonna let these people back in the ballparks.
right, but regardless, I'm happy that this is going to be a full season. I just hope that there's not too many obstacles to the point where the MLB cannot continue that season.
Right. Right. I completely agree. But with that said, we're all excited for baseball to come back. And as always, go Red Sox.